when I came out to Holyoke in 2000, it just felt like a special place. It felt like God's country. It felt like a natural, like, creative environment. I'd never lived rurally before, so I was really fascinated with the people and the living and the winters and how you manage the winters, physically, emotionally, spiritually. That was all fascinating to me, and it still is. I didn't know anyone in Duluth when I came here. I think Duluth is such a great community. Like, I feel like I really was able to step in and kind of be accepted and meet people, and I found people to play music with. Rolling?
Yep.
I am a lion, and I've come for the lion's share. Here when you see me scratching at your doorstep, ooh, you better beware. Good Lord, hear me. High above the mountaintop, loud and clear. I am the mighty king of the jungle, and I've come for the lion's share. I've been climbing up from the valley below. One step after the next step, to the mountaintop I go. 7 trumpets in the walls of Jericho. I raise my voice when I hear those trumpets blow. I am a lion, and I've come for the lion's share. Here when you see me scratching at your doorstep, ooh, you better beware. Good Lord, hear me. High above the mountaintop, loud and clear. I am the mighty king of the jungle, and I've come for the lion's share. So I come from an Philadelphia Irish family, and my mom moved Ian and I down to the Jersey Shore when we were small kids. Going back to that time, that was like the beginning of what became the crack epidemic in Philadelphia. So mom moved us out of that neighborhood and down to the Jersey Shore. And that was interesting because I was taking music lessons at that time in Philadelphia. I was taking violin lessons at Temple University as a little, I guess I was probably 6. And but when we moved down to Jersey Shore, there just wasn't any access to music schools or things like that. So I didn't end up taking any music lessons growing up, after that. That was the last music lesson I had with the 6-year-old on violin. But yeah, we grew up on the Jersey Shore and, right in the shadows of Atlantic City. Yeah, and just was really like mixed group of friends, like all kinds of working class kids, of all different races and cultures and some kids whose families had never been outside the county, and then other kids like my brother and I who, come from elsewhere. So when hip hop started, we were really adjacent to it. It was right nearby in New York City and Philadelphia when a lot of that was starting. It all came down the shore really quick, and we can get the Philadelphia radio stations every night, and sometimes we could even get the New York radio stations. And that music really inspired me to start writing, and just wanting to make music with my friends. And hip hop back then was a real like crew mentality, like it took a crew to do everything. So it was fun just having a crew of friends and trying to make music. It's just a hobby for fun back then. And that became that crew of people, when after high school, we eventually became like a Jersey Shore bar band version of our high school hip hop group, and we took it to the Jersey Shore bar scene, which was really, which was all cover bands at like 100% top 40, shameless, dare I say, cover, but like walking on the bar, saxophone solos, type playing Brown Eyed Girl, the saxophone is playing on the bar kind of stuff. I didn't have any interest in that. We were real strong minded about, playing our own music. We were rappers, so we didn't cover, we had all our own raps and songs and everything and that. And, when we started playing instruments, we kind of just, kept that same mentality of having our own music. So it was almost like revolutionary on the Jersey Shore to do that. And that lasted about a year or so. And then I moved to, and then straight from there to Minnesota, a little bit of time in San Diego in between. But yeah, so that was my changeover from a real, like, a lot of just like urban music influence, growing up where I grew up, and then moving like straight to Holyoke, straight to the country. So it's
And what was the catalyst to move?
a beautiful Minnesota woman, and and I have two beautiful daughters as a result. Um, so it was all, it all seems, it wasn't planned, I guess. It definitely was in a musical sense. It certainly wasn't. I had no idea what was going to be going on up here. Music. I didn't expect Duluth to even have a music scene. There's God, there's man, there's business, there is culture, there's love, and there's war. There is history, media, political fervor, filthy rich, and there's dirt poor. Oh, mama, here comes the storm. Dig your hands in the earth and hold on. There are old seats round the table. There is eating when your belly is full. There are dukes and dictators and Her Majesty, Uncle Sam and Bloody John Bull. There are emeralds and pearls in the window, sure as diamonds are out in the rough. There's a cowboy with boots up on the table, calling out the con man's bluff. And there are bright, shining lights, mirrors and magic, smoking hocus pocus. There is a moment the princess relents, not all romantics are hopeless. Oh, mama, here comes the storm. I think just by chance, the first time I saw live music in Duluth was I saw the Black Eyed Snakes play at the North Shore, and it was just I'd never seen a rock and roll show like that. And it was really inspiring to kind of get started. I really wanted to keep my music life going, in this new environment, even though I didn't know anybody up here. And I went to Wussow's Concert Cafe and played the open mic and met a bunch of people. And by the end of the night, I was the lead guitar player in Jason Wussow's ska band called No Room to Pogo, and and met some guys, Chad and Zach, that eventually became Teague Alexy with Medication. And then we, just started playing around and did well. And that, the next step was playing out of town and, trying to get shows out of town and traveling and playing weekends on the road. And then my brother moved here in 2004, and we started Hobo, Nephews of Uncle Frank. And we started that because we were both really interested in American roots music, which is a different thing. Like, I'd never felt the relevance of, like, blues music and old country music the way I felt it in Minnesota, you know, it just didn't have the same relevance on the Jersey Shore, and I had been living in San Diego. But hearing it living in Holyoke, I remember listening to the Marshall Tucker Band out there and just being like and just really being touched by it, you know, in that environment and really wanted to get into I was a songwriter at that point, but I really wanted to be an American songwriter and really, like, have when I met so many great musicians in my first few months in Minnesota. I met a lot of the people I still play music with today, like Eric Koskinen and Charlie Parr and, the guys in Trampled by Turtles and the White Iron Band who amazed me when I first saw them. Um, and to me, they all had, like, American roots music was, like, an intrinsic part of what they were doing, and I didn't feel like I had that. I feel like I kinda skipped over that in my, learning process and my road to becoming a songwriter, so starting the Hobo Nephews with my brother Ian was we really wanted to go down get into that, you know, we wanted to play Woody Guthrie songs and try and write songs like Woody Guthrie wrote and you know, start, interjecting old country and bluegrass and blues. I started playing harmonica and just really dove into that and took it on the road and, really made that a part of just my whole musical character, my songwriting, and my life. Um, and I owe all that to Minnesota for sure, because that wasn't part of my life before. There's a song I'm still working on, but it's a Duluth song, so maybe it'll work. This is Jefferson Street right here, right? You know that? Yeah. Come morning, you'll hear the foghorn blow on Jefferson Street. Tuck your head under and roll down slow. Jefferson Street at the bottom of the hill. There's a string band playing on the 1, 2, 3 on Jefferson Street. One man's bumpy road is another man. Jefferson Street at the bottom of the hill. Over the river and through the wood. Oh Nelly, oh Nelly, long tall winter is blowing in. You better hold steady, hold. Well, there's puddles, potholes, pretty little birds on Jefferson Street. I want to ask her, but I lost my nerve. Jefferson Street at the bottom of the... Well, do you know the which way to Sir Ben's by chance on Jefferson Street? Well, it's a 10-minute walk, 20-minute dance. Jefferson Street at the bottom of the hill. Round and round the little garden we go. Good golly, good golly. That's where young Bob Dylan saw Buddy Holly, Buddy Holly. I was on a long drive last week and I was doing some math in my head. I was trying to figure out if I've made $1 million playing music in my life. And I think that if I add everything up, if I add all my like record sales and t-shirt sales and streaming sales and bar tips and door covers and ticket prices and all that, I've definitely gone over $1 million. But I think my expenses have been probably about $999,999. I'm probably like $20-$30 ahead altogether. But I had that thought the other day.